Hey guys, how you going? Welcome to Hold the Ball, HCB. Hope all is good. Thanks again guys for tuning in. I appreciate it very much. Look, if you're somebody who's new here or somebody who keeps on coming back and then coming back, do me a favor. Please subscribe, please like, please share, please comment. And let's discuss all things rugby league. Look, I'm going to be focusing on the news that's happened. As we know, a lot has happened actually in the last 10 to 12 hours regarding one person, and that person is Shaun Johnson. Some may call him the prodigal son. Some people may get frustrated when they hear his name, but here are the facts. He's back and he plays for the Warriors again in 2022. So that is Shaun Johnson. A bit about him and his time in the Warriors. So Shaun Johnson has played from 2011 to 2018. He's played a total of 162 games with 63 tries. So that is sort of like a summation of his time at the Warriors. Although I'll just give you guys a bit of a bite sample size for his stats in the Sharks. So he's got 1 try, 15 goals, kicking at 88.2%, 3 try assists, 4 line breaks, as well as an 80.9% tackle efficiency, which is not too bad, as 64.1 meters run per game. So that gives you a little small sample size of what Shaun Johnson is doing. I believe that's off the back of 5 to 6 appearances for the Sharks too. Shaun Johnson, whether you like him, whether you hate him, whether you love him, whether you loathe him, he's back. And I guess, look, the reality is, right, he's a son. He's the Warriors' son, you know what I mean? Like he's just one of, you know how players sort of just belong to clubs? He belongs to the Warriors. A lot of people have been jumping for joy at this via social media, and you get the odd person here or there who is probably not happy. And you know what? I think both sides of the coin make sense, because as much as we love to praise Shaun Johnson, and I do too, I'm not using this platform to bag him out, no. We've got to admit too that at times he probably hasn't produced his best footy too with us. And hey, I guess that's been the same for a lot of players who've donned the Warriors jersey, but at the same time, he's probably just as been equivalent as well in that sort of. So as important as it is to realize that, we've also got to look to the future. And Shaun Johnson also had a few interviews as well where he said that he's just come back and he probably has a more experienced approach as opposed to what he did beforehand. And it can only mean good things if you're looking at it from that way. It depends on what you're looking at. So just to give you guys a bit of a rundown on Shaun Johnson and sort of the players that he's played alongside, I've named, or I've actually put down some players that he's played with, just so that you guys can know the span of his tenure at the Warriors from 2011, 2018 and beyond. So he's played with James Maloney, Simon Mannering, Manu Vatuvei, Michael Luck, Ben Matalino, Nathan Friend, Nani Laumape, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck, Tohu Harris, Bunty Afoa, Sam Tompkins, Conrad Harrell, Ken Mamalo, Dave Fusitua, Michael Luck. And those are just sort of like a select few players. Obviously there's more too that have played alongside Shaun Johnson, but these are just sort of like I guess some of the bigger names that have played with them. And it sort of shows you again just how long he's been playing and just how much he's been in it with the Warriors, right? This is somebody who's, as he said, this is his club. He loves his club. He didn't even want to go. But things happen for a reason, and sometimes timing and sometimes time does heal all wounds, and it sounds like it has in this case, but sometimes being away in a different experience, in a different setting, can do someone wonders, and quite possibly we could be looking at that. But I guess at the same time, as I've named players who have played in the past and are currently playing, I named players that he hasn't played with in the future. Reece Walsh, Rocco Berry, Dallin Watene-Selesniak, Adam Fonua-Blake, CHT, Gatoa, Curran, Otukolo, Egan. You know, so again, Shaun Johnson in the past, in the present, and in the future. And again, it just shows you just how dynamic this player is. You know, he's been our go-to guy every time he's played for us. That's the reality, whether you like it or not. And I guess that's the reason why a lot of pressure has been, I guess, mounted on him. Because at the end of the day, whenever Shaun Johnson played, we as fans expected him to deliver. Whether he did or did not, We just expected him to, and probably at the same time, we probably put a lot of pressure on him. If you look at the forward packs we've had during that tenure, some of them haven't been really good. It was just sort of forced it on him to play well, considering where the forward pack was. And let's be honest right now, every team who wins a premiership, right, you don't do it with crap forwards. That's just the reality, okay? So if your forwards aren't delivering, if they're not driving, you're not going to win. And I guess for us as fans, we're so hyper-focused on Shaun Johnson's attacking game and the way he can zip and zag and just do tries that nobody else can do. He literally has some highlights that can never be replicated ever again. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is the type of player we're talking about. Generational in what he's done, in some of the things he's done. Inspiring a new crop of talent, a new generation as well, Australian and New Zealand as well. And I guess just to go back onto it, I feel like from my perspective as a fan, because as fans, maybe we sometimes do a bit of growth and maturing ourselves. Now, that's not to say that you can't be a fan who, has a gripe. No. But sometimes as fans, we realize maybe we're a bit too harsh on someone. Now, that's not me saying overlooking some things, because I want to touch on it. Let's be honest, Shaun Johnson had very good moments, but he also had some very poor moments too, right? And that's just the reality of the game. As I touched on before, not everyone can play a perfect game week in, week out. And I think that's where the pressure came in, and I think that's where the mounting pressure was from, if that makes sense. That's where the pressure was. And to expect Shaun Johnson to basically deliver us magic upon magic upon magic when the fullback wasn't there, perhaps even the spine, right? The hooker, and then, his halves partner, he's been through a few as well. You're talking about some halves combinations that have been together for like 5+ years, where Shaun Johnson's had to swap a few, and he's going to come back to a new Warriors team next year as well, and he's going to have to try and get himself familiar again with new faces, a new structure, a new way, a new coach, and he's been through a few himself. We're talking about someone who, as he said, loves the club. So I'm sure he's felt the emotional roller coasters that we've all gone through as fans. That's the reality. Whether we hated a coach, perhaps disliked, loved the coach, whatever, I'm sure he's felt it, he's been there. But he's back. And I think I mentioned it before, but he is controversial in the sense that, hey, as I said, there's some people who like him, I think a lot like him, and then there's some that don't. And that is okay, because as touched on before, hey, he's only human, he's had the bad and the good. But I guess as Warriors, perhaps, again, I'm not trying to change your point of view as much as I'm just trying to probably refresh mine or give mine a new perspective, if that makes sense. I want to try and shed a bit of, I guess, light or, something different into this as opposed to how I used to feel. I can assure you right now, there were times when I was not his biggest fan. There were times when I wished that he'd leave the club, and there were times when I just didn't want anything to do with him. Obviously he left, and let's be fair now, let's be quite honest. Let's examine how we've been since he's gone. He's been to finals with the Sharks, and where have we been? Nowhere. That's the reality. There was obviously rumours circulating around that Shaun Johnson was potentially coming. I wasn't sure. I think there was Bulldogs thrown in the mix there. But here we go. He's back home, and he is happy, and he is stoked. And, if you're looking at this and you're perhaps not the biggest Shaun Johnson fan, hey, fair enough. But perhaps we should look to the future as opposed to looking to the past. Let's try and have a fixed view that something great will happen. Who knows, the combinations may sort of spark something new. So there's always that. I guess another reason why people like Shaun Johnson coming back too is that sense of nostalgia, right? The way he made you feel when he came hot off the scenes as a young kid, back in 2011, and sort of just running around, kicking, and the way he played, unseen before. To one degree, it was absolutely unseen. And I guess for us, we feed off that, and we feed off those old feelings, and we sort of see it every now and then in sparks as he plays with the Sharks. We see it here and there, and obviously it's not the same Shaun Johnson as it was probably if you turn the clock back 10 years ago to when he debuted, or even 8 years ago. But look, there's still a glimpse of something there, and to be quite honest, the reality is he's probably got another good 3-4 years in him, right? Even if he's changed his game plan, he's still got something there. He can still provide, he can still add, and he's got experience as well as that leadership skill. You know what I mean? Like, Shaun Johnson from the Sharks is probably a blessing in disguise in the fact that he's coming back. Experience, finals experience, a different way of thinking, a different mindset. Seems like he's got and added more of his attributes to what he's had now, and he seems like a more composed player, you know, so this could potentially work out for us. I've already touched on, I guess, the arguments. I've sort of named them, and I guess for me, probably one of my only, I guess, undecided thoughts is the injuries. And I know people get injured, I get it, but that is probably my only main concern. And I guess it's always been my main concern. It's been the factor that's weighed heavily on me the most, is the fact that he can get injured a lot. Sure, hopefully it's not too much, but you know, I'm just hoping that a Shaun Johnson who comes here is going to be fresh and you know, injury-free is probably the hope there. You know, injury-free, Shaun Johnson would be very good. You know, so it's sort of like my only gripe. I hope he doesn't. You know, I'd love a fresh Shaun Johnson playing. But look, I think I've already covered the bases there. But yeah, look, that has sort of like been a bit of a rundown there. But I guess I'll give you guys more of my thoughts in depth. So for me personally, how I feel about it, I'm happy. I guess, as I said before, seems a lot like the prodigal son has come back and he's back home, and he mentions that Gould and Robbo and some of the players were happy to have him back, and if it wasn't for them, he probably wouldn't be back. Hey, that's cool. I'm happy. Like I said, I'm happy, but I'm a bit cautious purely because of the injury part. But besides that, I'm happy. Don't get me wrong. Another thought as well that I had is the future of the team. What does that look like, as I touched on previously? Could it mean new chemistry, new sparks, new combos? Could it mean potential future signings? Could other players want to come play alongside Shaun Johnson and Reece Walsh? You know what I mean? It seems like the future looks a bit more optimistic. You know, maybe we can sort of see a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, I'm not rushing. I'm not telling you guys this is glory, right, to the Warriors. No, I'm just saying that things look a bit more promising than they have before. And for those of you who took this news and absolutely were ecstatic and happy, congrats to you. You know, like I myself was very sort of 50-50, let's be honest. I'll be honest, I'll front that up there. I was indifferent about it. Now that he's here for next year, I think it's time to get on board that Shaun Johnson train. And you know what? Let's look after him this time as fans. Sure, we can always look back in the past and sort of point the finger here, point the finger there, or we can look forward and look at the future and be optimistic of what we have, you know, and be thankful that the prodigal son has returned, because I can tell you what, from the expression, from look in his face, from the way he is going, he definitely wants to be back. And how many players can you say that about, that actually just want to stay with the Warriors? Not many. So how about we count our blessings? But look, this has been my little review. But yeah, look, this has been my opinion on Shaun Johnson. And overall, like I said, kudos. It's good to have him back. Cannot wait to see what he can do for us. But hey, till then, he is technically the enemy. He's playing for the Sharks, so let's not get too happy, right? We still got to get 2 points off him. But yeah, look, it sort of brings me to conclude as well, just quickly, Shaun Johnson and what he can bring to the Warriors, right? And the playing group around him. And hopefully he can sort of make us gel better in attack. But not only that, how about Reece Walsh as well? How is he going to be reacting to Shaun Johnson being there, being one of the leaders? And I'm just hoping that Shaun Johnson can help him, lead him, direct him, because hey, Shaun Johnson was one of the futures of the Warriors club, and now he gets to pass that torch on, just like Roger has to Reece Walsh. And for Reece Walsh to be able to experience RTS, Tohu Harris, Shaun Johnson, right, and over there at the Queensland camp as well, it just does him so much good. And I'm just hoping that Shaun Johnson as well can just take him under his wing when Roger's gone and look after him and make him a more better player and add more to his craft as well. So there's that as well, right? And the team chemistry and I guess having Shaun Johnson there just might be able to compose and ease the boys to bit of direction in the park as well doesn't hurt. But yeah, look, this has been my overall opinion on Shaun Johnson, giving you guys what I think. And hey, if you like it, sweet as. If you don't, sweet as. Tell me guys what you think and why it's good, why it's bad. But hey, if you're watching this and you like what you see, please subscribe. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as well. Appreciate it. But yeah, this has been it. But hey, thanks again guys for watching. I appreciate it very much. There'll definitely be more videos coming out. And Shaun Johnson, you definitely know how to hold the ball. Take it easy guys, and I'll see you guys next time.